Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fullest podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Bostwick, and today's guest is someone who I really admire and whose brand I absolutely love. And if I am out of her chocolate, I'm dying to order more and waiting for it every single day because it's all the way in Australia. Emica Penklis, she is the founder of Loco Love. She is the chocolatier behind the brand, and she also has a background as a nutritionist, a model, and a naturopath. So we're really excited to have you on today. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're really busy. You're a mom, you're running the brand, and I know exactly what it's like having a small business and a family. So thank you for taking the time to come on today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nikki, for that intro and for having me on the podcast. I look forward to sharing whatever comes up with the audience.
Yeah. So I found out about you because I was doing a podcast with, Heather Culp, but now she's Mia or Maya. I haven't talked to her in person, but the founder of Mercado Sagrado.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Yeah. And we did a podcast together and she gifted me your peanut butter caramel. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Peanut butter caramel. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's like identical to just like a childhood flavor of mine, which were Snickers. So
Yeah.
I fell in love immediately. And like I was with 3 of my team members at the Fullest, and we literally went to heaven as we were just eating it, just could not believe that it existed. The ingredients, everything was so clean. And from then it became this like favorite of ours that like anytime any of us would have one, we would just text each other and share it, and it just became this like way that we socialized around it. And I mean, it's really incredible what you've created. Like I cannot explain to you how much it's really changed my life in such a beautiful way, because I just really appreciate things like the way someone would appreciate a glass of natural wine. Like I really appreciate your chocolate. So yeah, I'm really excited. Now that I've told you a million times how much I love your chocolate, I want to know how, because I went to culinary school for raw food. So I've had my fair share of raw chocolates and I've never come across anything like yours. What were you doing before Loco Love? Like your background is obviously in wellness, but how did you become this like a master chocolatier?
That is a big question, and I actually had no previous training in any type of food before Loco Love. I guess I was just on my journey. I studied fashion after school, after high school, and then had my own label for a while, and that I realized, that wasn't what I wanted to contribute to the world because of the environmental kind of crisis we were in. So through that, I did my first collection, and then I was like, okay, I can't do this. It's just it's just not what I believe in. And then I still like it now. I've developed a different relationship with fashion, but at the time I just didn't want to, bring any more junk into the world that people didn't need. So after that, I actually started modeling, moved to London, lived there for a few years, just went on a bit of a full-on path, got a bit unhappy, like with what I was doing. Again, a moral kind of crisis where I was like, oh, what am I doing with my life? I'm just selling people's products. Surely I could be doing something more. And I didn't want to use myself as like a way to kind of promote capitalism, which I think being from Byron, everyone has like this, moral kind of compass that's maybe a bit too strong. So it kind of holds them back sometimes. Though I do look back on my modeling years as like it was such a great experience, and I met a lot of amazing people and got to travel and didn't have to work hard. So not that all models don't work hard, but I personally just had it pretty cruisy. So I had a lot of time to kind of read and explore my inner worlds and learn about a lot of different things, like what I could potentially be interested in. Like I had a lot of time to just be with myself and be like, okay, what is it that I want to give to the world? And this isn't when I started Loco Love though. Then I was like, okay, I feel like the world needs, healing, and I personally needed healing. So I was like, and I was really into, I don't know, herbs and the the seasons and kind of, what's the word now, like pagan kind of philosophy. So it was like,
I love that.
wanted to like be this like witchy pagan kind of healer. So I was like, okay, how do I do that? So I started learning about herbs, and then I studied as a naturopath so I could pursue that. And I still love herbs and stuff, but as I finished my course and then started practicing as a naturopath, I realized that I didn't I really missed the like creative elements of myself. So I was like, okay, now I'm like in his. And it also felt like a bit another business. Like I was selling supplements and like
Yeah.
it felt a bit like weird and uncomfortable for me. So I was like, okay, I don't really want to be selling like 500 supplements to this person when really it's probably a bit deeper than, just what they're eating. So I had this another moral dilemma, like this person, oh no, people, it's not just food that people, it's like maybe the first step to healing. And whilst I was going through this process, I was kind of going through my own kind of healing journey. And yeah, I don't know, it's such a long story. But then after that I was working in this kind of clinic as a naturopath, not a clinic, but like in a little dispensary, making people herbs, seeing like 50 people a day, coming in.
Wow. Like an apothecary? Like you made them custom herbs?
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
like mixing up potions for like lots of different people and, hearing their story. And it was quite a quick exchange. But one customer came in and he kept on like chatting to me, not in like a creepy way. He was like one of those people that you kind of meet on your path that just kind of, I don't know, you're meant to meet and they take you on a different direction. And he was like, oh, you seem like you shouldn't be here. Like, you should like come and do this, like work with my company and make this product, which was
Wow.
which was Loco Love. So yeah, anyway, that's what I was doing before Loco Love, but we can get into now how Loco Love started if you want.
Hey everyone, I'm interrupting this episode to tell you about Prima. 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits are for stress-related issues. That's a huge number of conditions that can potentially be managed with lifestyle changes alone. Many of us are operating in survival mode, expecting our skin, bodies, and minds to thrive when we're running on empty. And that's why Prima is passionate about helping people manage their stress naturally with their range of products for mind, body, and skin. They're California-based and also purpose-led and have partnered with doctors to formulate products that specifically tackle this issue. Their products have also been clinically validated for skin, body, and mind. If you're interested in experimenting with CBD for daily stress, try Prima's The Daily CBD Capsules. Another way to incorporate CBD is as a sleeping aid. If you're in need of more restorative sleep and don't want to wake up groggy the next morning, their Sleep Tight is also an amazing way to improve sleep quality without the use of heavy meds. Prima is also offering our listeners an exclusive limited time 20% off offer with the code THEFULLEST. Head to prima.co/thefullest to start feeling better naturally.
I mean, oh gosh, there's so much that you mentioned in there though. But yeah, let's get into Loco Love. I'm like, where's this apothecary? Is that a normal thing? I mean, we have that, I guess, here, but not really. It's really hard to find. So do those types of places still exist in Australia or?
Yeah, they do. There's not many of them. This was in Sydney in Bondi. And we have a few in Byron, like in Mullum. There's Mullum Herbals. Obviously, Mullum, I don't know if you know about Mullumbimby, but it's a pretty alternative place. And it's it's a great
cool.
In Byron, there's a few. There's not many, and you have to be like a naturopath, accredited naturopath to work in them. You can't just work in there as anyone.
Yeah, so you were making like tinctures and stuff basically, and then he was like, you should come. He like kind of brought you the idea of making a product?
Yeah, kind of. Like I loved making food but I didn't have any experience in making food or manufacturing food.
Yeah.
Which, there's been a steep learning curve to learn how to manufacture food. But
totally.
So I was still working there, and then I decided to stop working there and focus on I don't know. I don't know what he wanted me to do. I think he just wanted me to work for his company, and he just gave me freedom to kind of pursue creative things. Like I started writing a recipe book, and then also he bought me all the ingredients and stuff to make like a raw food bar or something. And I was like,
Oh,
came up with a bunch of recipes, like, you know, those bliss balls and stuff. At the time, it was like 2012 or 13. And
it was all the rage.
it was all the rage, but we didn't really have many in Australia. So it was kind of like, you know, the first kind of one. But
Mm-hmm.
I decided through that process, I made like a bunch of different, you know, balls and things. And the coconut chocolate that we still sell now, I made that. And then, yeah, just sold that to a few local stores and stuff for a while. Then like another flavor came, and then it just was like the right place at the right time. And everything was just working so easily. Like it felt, which is why I called it Artisan Chocolate Magic, because it felt magical, because it was just like, oh, I needed this. It would be like, it was like, needed someone to call me, they would. Like, it was like I was in like a different kind of reality from what I'd been in previously. And
Yeah.
the synchronicities and stuff were just amazing. And being able to like just do what I wanted with my time when I was used to working, you know, as a model, someone else directing me, and then as a naturopath, kind of you could do that on your own schedule, but not so much. And you had to work with other people. And I've learned I'm very good at like working by myself, creating things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you started making these recipes. And so is that where you learned all of the
Oh,
rules in terms of having a food business? Because like you mentioned, it's just heavily regulated, and there's so much that goes into it. And like even us as a brand, I mean, we don't want to make our own foods. Like we just have a co-packer because we want to formulate it ourselves, but doing it yourself is
yeah.
such a deal. And on one hand, it's so nice because you have more control and you can put the love into it and make sure it's right. And then on the other hand, I can't imagine having a baby and being married and running the business and making the product.
Yeah. It's quite intense. I think at the start I was doing it from like share kitchens. So I didn't have to kind of be responsible for a lot of the regulations and stuff, only with my product. So that was kind of a good way to kind of make money and learn, you know, about the rules. Nowadays it's kind of different. It's way more regulated, and I don't know. I'm still learning every day. There's like another rule that comes up, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know about that rule. But
How do you even find out? I feel like it's not even like you just have to go searching, or else you just find out by getting in trouble, you know?
yeah, there's consultants, but they, you know, they're not cheap. And I've had a few consultants, and they come in, and there's just like, you know, you need an eye wash station for this one battery, and like, just like over the top safety. So it's kind of just like finding a balance of like, you know, implementing what you can now and then working
Growing
towards
that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so what happened to this person? Is he still part of Loco Love? Or was that before Loco Love, but like the inception of it?
He was just around for the inception of it. He still actually sells us some coconut and he works for like another company that imports you know, some ingredients and stuff from Sri Lanka. So we still work with him and talk to him. But he never really was part of Loco Love. He was more just like, he kind of like woke me up from like what I was doing to what I could be doing, which was
That's so cool. I love those people that come into your life and do that.
Totally.
I had a similar experience, and I think that, you know, without that person, I would have never thought about ever doing something like what I'm doing now. But so those people really come into your life for a reason, and it's beautiful. And then, like you said, like the synchronicities and everything working out, it just feels so right. And it's such a high, I feel like.
High. Yeah.
And then, like, obviously, you know, business is business, and there's just so many hardships that come along with it. And like, as someone who's like spiritual, I'm sure you also like feel this, but for me, I'm always like, but why is this happening? Like, why isn't it going my way or the way that I think that it should be? I always believe there's a reason why, whether there's like something better or like I need to learn from this. I'm curious, like, yeah, like how did you, I mean, go from that to starting the brand? It's such an elevated, beautiful brand. And then like we mentioned earlier, there's just so much cost associated with designing and purchasing purchasing the materials, the packaging materials, the raw materials. So
Yeah.
like, was it just like really intuitive and just like worked out, or?
Yeah, very intuitive and just worked out, I guess. Also slowly. Like I just did like what I could afford at the time, saved up, the money, and then, went to the next step. Like I've been doing it for 8 years. Like a startup would normally come along and just be like, okay, website, branding, blah, blah, everything, without kind of even refining their product or knowing if the market even wants it. So I kind of did it in the opposite way to like what a normal business would do. Like I didn't even have a website for like 4 or 5 years. And I was
Oh my
gosh, living off it. And people love the product. It's just, I feel like we were very product focused, and then it took me ages to find like a designer that I wanted to work with for the packaging, who really like understood what I was trying to do, because it's a certain type of person that needs to be kind of on the same wavelength. So I was lucky to meet that person kind of at the right time, and then that really elevated the brand, having like how I envisioned it. But yeah, I don't know. I think the way people are successful is you just don't give up. Like you just go and go and go and just deal with problems every day and fix them, and then you just move to the next step. But like it's definitely not been easy. Especially, it was very easy for the first few years, and then like it's like, yeah, employing people, all like the rules around that even, and just learning how to manage people and how to manufacture chocolate on a large scale. Like our product's not like a traditional kind of bar either, so we can't just like go and buy this out of the box kind of machinery. We have to, it's been a lot of like research, trial and error. Like we went from also not having a shelf stable product to having a shelf stable product, which is also like I had to learn, how to make chocolate via YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Via textbooks and YouTube. And yeah.
Wow. It is so much work to temper
So much work.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I like when I first was trying to do that, like I just thought it would be easy. And I had so many issues. The chocolate was turning white. It was getting humidity. Like it was just like an insane learning curve. And I was like, can I actually do this? Like I became a bit obsessive. Like, okay, I've got to figure this out, because what else am I going to do? I don't really want to go backwards. And I just became obsessive in working it out, and did something.
And it worked.
It worked. Luckily.
I've only ever had your shelf stable stuff. So it looks beautiful. Like you need your own high-end chocolate shop.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's like, I guess I've been so in the business as well. Only now I'm kind of like, okay, I need to like get more of a vision about where we're going, because it's kind of just been like,
head down,
solving problems, and and the business started so organically and kind of intuitively that I'm still running it like that, though it doesn't work so much when you're working with other people, because they can't be inside your head. So I'm trying to work out how to like share the vision so everyone else understands what's going on and they can be part of it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another skill which I'm not very good at right now, but I'll learn it.
It's so tough. That one's so tough to relay like what's in your head, because it takes more time.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, why am I doing that? It just takes more time. It's easier for me to just do it. But then eventually it obviously saves you time.
Yeah. Like when I had my son, I kind of had no choice but to like step back a bit. Well, not step back. We'll step back and trust other people to kind of, do what needed to be done. And it's a bit of a journey. I don't know how people have like 500 employees, and it's very amazing.
Hi, everyone. Interrupting this episode because we get to offer you guys a 10% off code on the Loco Love website so that you can get your own chocolate and experience the wonderful Loco Love bliss that I experience every time I try it. I love it so much, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you your own 10% off code using the code FULLEST at checkout on the Loco Love website. So just type in FULLEST in all caps and you'll get 10% off. Enjoy.
I know about that. Like one time I went to a conference and Martha Stewart was getting interviewed, and someone said, "Can a woman do it all? Can she have the family and the relationship and the business that she wants?" And she's like, "No, like you can't. You can, but not all at once. And you're gonna like disappoint someone at some point, and that's okay." And I was just like, wow, I love that answer, but I didn't want to believe it. Like I wanted her to be like, yes. But I totally agree. But one thing I really do feel like you said, I mean, having a child really does remind you to slow down, and it's so beautiful and be more productive too when you have the time. But I'm curious, yeah, your experience, because like, so when did you meet your husband, and like, how did he transition into being part of the business? Was it because you were pregnant and had your child?
No, we met in 2017 and kind of just actually on our first date. He was like he had some experience in food production, working for like other local businesses, but not so much running the food production, more like on the line. And on our first date, actually, he made me he made me chocolate. Like,
Oh my gosh.
so he was really into chocolate and herbs and everything as well, but he hadn't he'd studied building design, and I don't know, he was kind of like in a place where he was ready to take on something new, but he wasn't quite sure what it was either. So he was kind of like open to anything at the time. And I guess the business just got busier and and also we were just dating, so we wanted to be together all
Oh
the
my
time.
God.
It was just kind of
So you like literally you started dating and started working together at the same time? That's
pretty much.
amazing.
Yeah, we had like a couple of months where we weren't working together, and then I was always working. So if he wanted to see me, he kind of had to be at work.
Wow.
But it was really
Yeah.
fun. Like we had such a fun time, like working things out together, and working together and chatting and just being in love. And yeah, the business wasn't so serious then. It was more just like my sister was actually working with me before Jessie came along, and she also fell in love and then moved away. So I lost her, but gained Jessie. So it was kind
Wow.
of like great timing again, and then since meeting Jessie, then we kind of like went from strength to strength, just because there was probably two of us, really focused and devoted to make Loco Love something and have fun along the way. Like it was actually probably one of the funnest times until now. It's a bit more, regulated and serious, but yeah, he's kind of been there for the last 3 or 4 years, and that's when the business has kind of really gone from strength to strength. So it's been great.
So, okay, if you met him in 2017,
Yeah.
then that means so then you guys like got married and had a baby really
Okay,
quickly.
yes, we did. So we've done a lot since we met. Like basically Loco Love has grown like, probably almost 10 times in size. And yeah, we did get married and have a baby really quickly. I'm not really good with times. It's like time is just this one thing, and I'm kind of like, okay, when did this actually happen? But yeah, we got married, and actually I was pregnant at our wedding and I didn't know. And then
Oh,
9 months later, Lennon was born. And yeah, it's been definitely more challenging having a child, trying to like maintain a relationship and a business and be there for the child. And it's insane. But
how old is your son now?
he's probably 19 months, 20 months.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he's little still.
Little, yeah. And he spent his first year probably in the factory, like strapped to me, like.
Yeah.
But my mum looks after him 3 days a week, and she's kind of our nanny, which is awesome. And she's on the Local Love payroll as the nanny, which is
That's
pretty
great.
amazing. And he comes to visit the factory, and we see him a lot, and he loves all the girls we work with, and it's actually pretty cool having him kind of involved, and he's been so involved since the beginning. So he's probably going to be working at age 10. No, not really, but
Totally. I feel like that about my son because I did the same thing. I just think it's so nice to have them part of your work and to be there with you. And also that's like kind of the only way you can make it all work anyways. But then my son now, he's a little older than yours. He's going to be 3 in August. So
Mhm.
like about a year older than your son. And he'll just be like, oh, because my husband is starting his own company too, and it's like a beverage company. And so he thinks like that's what people do is start products.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, this is my product. And now he makes his own products. And because it's like everyone we know has a product almost. We just know all the people that like in the food space and stuff. So he just doesn't know any different. And it's so fun.
Young entrepreneur. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
So we'll see what happens to them. But that's kind of the other thing I wanted to ask you. I think as someone who's a naturopath and into this, healing and really understanding right from like such an early time practicing when you were practicing as a naturopath that like, yes, I think your chocolate is a way for people to heal because not only does it have herbs in it, but it's like elevating and it brings people joy and the emotional aspect of just like not emotional eating, but just like being able to unwind and treat yourself and love it and socialize. Like there's so much that is there
yeah,
and so
that was kind of where I got to with healing. Like, yeah, when you I guess it's deep, but I started meditating as when I was starting Loco's Love as well, and I discovered this kind of space within myself that had the capabilities of healing myself and um, connecting with the greater kind of cosmos. But it's hard to explain exactly now because I'm not quite in that space right now because I haven't been meditating. But yeah, I guess the whole philosophy of the brand was to inspire the consumer to be really present and kind of let the love in. So open to that love within them, but at the same time kind of connect with the love around them. But yeah, it's
that's beautiful.
it's super deep, but it's also just chocolate, so it's kind of which I like because it's balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everything that you guys do is just so beautiful and all the affirmations, like everything I love so much and I believe in that. I mean, we know that water absorbs um, those messages and so our food does too and just
Yeah.
it really
We used to write on all the like buckets of everything, like love, empowered, like yeah, it was really cool. So I believe in frequency and vibration and all of that and energy, like with your thoughts and stuff. So, and obviously the intentions we're putting into the food is really important to us. So, who we employ and if they're
I know
bad, we send them home.
how do you like have I mean that's not something you can it's so hard it's already really hard to find good employees so then like it's not something you can really teach people either to like embody,
No,
but it is something you can inspire. But I bet that's challenging as well.
yeah, it is challenging because I guess it went from Jesse and I, making the food, being in love, just, meditating and being really kind of present with everything to then getting sucked into this whole business world with all the rules and regulations and other kind of advisors and stuff telling us, you need to do this and this and this. So it has been hard to hold that kind of vibration, which is, I think, my lesson in this whole experience. But with employees, I think because we're in Byron, it's a bit easier because people are pretty connected to themselves and to the natural world and stuff. So they're kind of, we have a lot of girls that went to Steiner school randomly. So they're like really creative and really,
oh my gosh,
really, I don't know, they're like, they have a different energy, very soft and kind of angelic. So we've got, yeah, I don't know.
that's really cool.
We find that actually women are better working in Loco Love than men, except for Jesse. He's kind of like a feminine man. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Something about the whole business is quite feminine, and women seem to do better at the job. It's very odd.
Wow. So is that what you think you'll do with your son, is take him to a Steiner school?
He started his first day today at Steiner preschool. Well, not preschool,
Oh my
play group. I'm not sure yet. We've got this other school that's kind of like, it's called a community school, so it's like a smaller kind of, intimate group.
Like a group, sort
No,
of, or
school with less people. So I've enrolled in that. I don't know about Steiner. Like, I love the idea of it, but then I also know that we're kind of in a world that's, yeah, very logical, and yeah, I haven't worked out what I'm going to do yet. So I don't want him to feel like he's different, because even though he probably will if he has Jesse and I as parents, but
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's really fun that he just started. I'm curious how it'll go. But that's awesome. You guys have options right now. I'm also curious just like how you navigated like COVID, and like I don't know what it's like right now in Australia compared to the US, but obviously early on it was almost like the same across the board.
Yeah.
And owning your own business, that must have been just like really terrifying to see things shut down. And I don't know if most of your sales are online or you have a lot of wholesale accounts that like keep it going, but I'm sure like with a hit with wholesale being shut down, that's like,
We in Byron, we have been like so blessed. It feels almost embarrassing from from being in this environment, and you feel so disconnected from what's actually going on in the world. Like, I haven't experienced much with COVID, to be honest, and I feel really kind of, I don't know, like I almost, not that I would ever want to experience more, but like it's hard to believe that it's actually happening, because in here no one's wearing a mask, everyone's out in the sun surfing.
no.
Yes, there was.
Well, that probably has like a lot to do with it, obviously, because they're getting vitamin D, because they're in the natural elements, because they're not obese, because I mean,
no one, yeah,
yeah.
It's been, and everyone here, not everyone, but a lot of people here are really into alternative ways of looking at things. So a lot of them, don't necessarily buy into everything that the mainstream media kind of tells them, and they are quite into health. And yeah, Mullumbimby is kind of like the alternative kind of natural healing into, all sorts of alternative ideas, which I love. And I feel so blessed to have been here through COVID. For Loco Love, for the business, we were really scared well, not really scared. I try not to be afraid and buy into those kind of energies, because they don't help, especially when the whole planet's afraid. So we try and avoid that. But and because we're here, we didn't really feel afraid. It felt kind of okay. But we got really, at the start we were like, okay, shit, what is this? How's it going to play out? And we were taking all the precautions and stuff. But because we were kind of selling a feel good kind of gifting product, we actually got really busy, like really, really, really busy, and we were not expecting it. Like, we let one staff member go. We were like, okay, we're gonna have to shut the business. And then all of a sudden we were like, the business has grown like 3 times during COVID, which is crazy.
That's incredible. It's so good to hear. I love hearing stories like that,
because so do a lot of our other friends' businesses that are kind of like, I don't know if it's that, I don't know, like it could be a lot of different factors, but like a lot of local businesses have grown so much during COVID, and maybe because people are like, wanting, you know, an alternate product that's not sold in the supermarket, that isn't full of crap, that's, you know, made by real people, not machines. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like the whole world's kind of changing for the better in a way. I know not everyone believes that, but I feel like it is. And, you know, everyone's kind of waking up. And I feel like the whole lockdown thing gave people a really good chance to kind of look at themselves and, you know, what they're contributing to, what they're doing, and the whole structure of society. And, you know, we can't just keep on going like this. Like, it's not sustainable, and it hasn't been forever, which is why I have made certain choices in my life. And now obviously local love's not perfect, but food is something I feel people always need. But yeah, I'm not sure how to navigate now, like with growing the business. Do I want to grow it? Do I want to, like, you know, make more money, get more staff, get more machines? Like, that whole business model seems kind of not something I want to pursue that much, but I feel pressure from other people to pursue that business model, but it kind of can't really work.
Yeah, I know. Because on one hand, you're like, is that sustainable? Is that really the route that we should take? But I think more and more people need it in their life.
Yeah,
Um, but
totally.
that doesn't mean that you can't. I mean, doesn't it like almost naturally grow if you just like keep more people find out about you online almost, and then it's just like you just keep up with
Yeah.
the demand.
We just haven't taken on many wholesalers like in the last year because we haven't been able to keep up with the production. But also I think that it makes people want it more because it's like this kind of, you know, they can't get it, so they're like, we need more. I'm like, well, and also we're kind of being true to our, you know, our team and what we can do. We don't want to work everyone, you know, too hard. And yeah, we're just kind of, hopefully business changes a bit, like with this whole thing. And I feel like there needs to be more small business and less big business, and it would help everyone feel more fulfilled with their lives.
Ancient cultures have always known about the healing benefits of heat therapy. However, in our modern lives, it's not always easy to get to an infrared sauna or salt room. Fortunately, we live in a time where brands are innovating incredible self-care products that can be used at home. One product that I've found provides amazing natural healings are gemstone heat mats from Healthy Line. Physically, they've been shown to increase blood muscular relaxation and temporarily relieve stiffness and joint pain associated with arthritis. For me, they've been amazing at improving my sleep and reducing fatigue, and I love spending time on my mat just before bed to get a more restorative rest. Also, their mats don't just have infrared technology, but also incorporate other therapies, including crystal chakra balancing, PEMF, and negative ion and photon light therapies. After spending just 10 minutes on the mat, I feel calmer, more grounded, and just overall more rejuvenated. The other good thing is that they're portable and amazing for an extra vitality boost whenever you're traveling. If you've been looking to add heat therapy to your wellness routine, Healthy Line is offering the Fullest listeners 10% off and free shipping in the US. Plus, they're also gifting every order a free energy bracelet. Just use code TheFullest at checkout.
I had the same experience as you because I live in a beach community down in Southern California, and it's almost like a suburb of, well, it's in Laguna Beach, basically. So I'm sure you've heard of it, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach. And so it's almost like a suburb of LA. It's outside the city, but then you have these amazing beaches and access to the natural elements. And so people just are naturally more connected in that way. And so our experience was the same. Like, we would go outside for a walk. We didn't feel it was necessary to put on a mask to just be outside walking a dog, you know? And so luckily for me, I think that that's really important for our children to experience being, it's been centuries that, like, since human beings existed on this world, that's how we lived. And so it just feels more natural. And I believe that I just love nature, and I believe in nature's capacity to heal us and invite us to, like you said, just like look at ourselves. So I think on one hand, it's the fear that's out of control, but on the other hand, it is really cool that like the opportunity that it's given people to be at home with their families and to look within themselves. So I have like a really interesting and very similar perspective that you do in terms of like the stay at home orders and lockdowns. But
Yeah,
I don't
I feel bad almost for having that opinion though, because I'm not part of the like suffering, but other people are suffering. So I'm like, oh, it's I don't know, it's
well
a hard one.
I totally agree. I mean, like I think that the people that are suffering are the people that I think there's this like a white savior complex that's happening where a lot of people are like, well, this isn't okay, and we need to stand up for our minorities that are being impacted the most. And I 100% agree with that. But I think that the solution isn't necessarily more westernized approach
Mm,
to dealing with it. And the solution is looking back and saying, how did we get here? Oh, we got here because we weren't taking preventative measures. We weren't taking care of ourselves. We weren't giving people enough time off of work
mm,
to be able to have the capacity to take care of themselves at home, because our society is all about just like work, work, work. So what you're saying is so beautiful, because you're like, I don't want that for my team members. I want them to be able to make a living wage and not have to overwork them. And so that they can, so essentially, like just by being you and embodying your beliefs, like you're able to create that for the people that work for you. And that's what we need more of. And I think that like people are suffering, and I know that, and I think that like it's important to just really look at the root cause rather than
yeah,
think that like, I mean, like chocolate sales, healthy chocolate sales going up is really great. That's great news. But also alcohol sales were
yeah.
skyrocketing too. And so it just like goes to show. And I
People
think,
want to escape themselves. It's just
yeah, it's this like numbing. And I just lost my husband just lost his cousin who is like a sibling to him. He's like our family, and we had dinner with him like every single night during COVID, actually. Like he'd come over, and he was a drug addict, and he just was totally normal, but also a drug addict, and numbed himself to the point where um, it was just like a habit at that point. His life was amazing, but he couldn't kick it.
yeah.
And it just made me realize like, as a society, just how we think that it's okay to like numb ourselves to this point where we don't want to deal with
I guess
things. And
dealing with stuff is a lot harder. Like it
yeah,
does take a lot of courage, and as a society, we all need to start taking responsibility for our actions and our our emotions and everything. But it's just like growing up. It's like the world's kind of growing up, and
yeah.
learning how to
Well, it's so funny
exist.
because what you were saying too, and I was thinking about this because I've never actually thought about this, but when you were talking about how we were saying like in the beginning, it's just such a high, and there's all these synchronicities and
Exactly.
everything's working out, and like it's almost like the business was in the infant stage and like a baby, and like it's being taken care of and supported, and then you like get older and like
Exactly.
life isn't like that, and so business isn't like that. But it's like as long as you can kind of like stay optimistic and like understand that, then like I think you just navigate life and business in that way where
Yeah,
you, you have the tools and the resources to be able to withstand those hardships, because it's going to happen to everyone in a different way.
totally, totally.
But I never thought about it until you were talking about it, and I was like, wow,
Yeah, that kind
that's
of
what
just all clicked for me as well. I was imagining my son, and he just has it so great. He just like
yeah.
we all kind of, not everyone, but most people had it like that. We get handed everything, and that is what it felt like in the infancy of the company. And then yeah, you're growing up, and each hardship kind of takes you to the next level. So it's like how you deal with those kind of hardships is how you get through life. And it's kind of a universal kind of law. really.
Yeah. But it's so empowering too. But then at the same time, like, I mean, we haven't even gotten into this, but just learning about from being on your mailing list how you have to reformulate all your chocolates
Yeah.
and redo all of the packaging. I mean, luckily, I also know that you were going to redo the packaging and make it like more sustainable, is what you were saying, and which is great, but a whole nother thing because
That's really hard here. Holy moly, people are not open to compost. Like, it's just too hard for every like
I
packaging. It's
know.
really annoying, actually. Like,
And even packaging companies are like, it's not possible to be 100% or it's not this. And if you actually want the right thing, then it's like minimums are insane. And
and the cost is like 5 times the price, and like the customer doesn't want to pay for it. Yeah, we've kind of worked out a solution, but it's not going to be 100%. But like, eventually we'll get there. Like, but yeah, it's been really challenging the last few weeks having to reformulate everything and like follow all the rules, and there's so many rules.
I know. So are you able to when do you start that process?
I've started. I've been doing it that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few weeks since that whole debacle. But yeah, it's just been a good learning process actually to learn what's allowed and what's not allowed, and how many businesses are not doing the right thing. But like, it's such a process, and it's been so expensive and such a shame to have to pull kind of products that were really great and people loved. Like people wrote to us saying that Holy Cacao changed their lives. So having to pull that was really shit, and not being able to.
I didn't realize you had to pull it. I'm so lucky I have some still.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we can sell it in America. We can sell it to you. We can't sell it to
you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. So for people who are listening, Australia, I don't know actually what happened. I just know that Emica can't sell her chocolate that has medicinal, not psychedelic, but medicinal mushrooms in it, which is like very prevalent here in the US and in Australia. So many brands have launched with adaptogens and mushrooms specifically as their base and their main products. So like lion's mane, chaga, reishi, and we talk about it all the time on the podcast. We have ads for it with brands. I mean, these are mushrooms that have so much intelligence in them and really like adapt to what our body needs. And there's so much wisdom and so much healing from just having them and as part of our routine. And so having them in the chocolate is really great. Not that it's going to change the taste that much, I'm sure, when you like reformulate, but it's such a bummer because in Australia, you essentially can't have access to foods that have that in it unless it's prescribed. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, there's not such a thing as medicinal food. Either you have a food or a medicine, which is where my personality likes to like balance things. So medicinal food kind of makes sense to me. Why not have food that's better for you and more healing? And also my background as a naturopath, obviously, that's just who I am, kind of putting medicines in food. But the rules here are basically we're not even allowed to sell lion's mane and chaga. Like, they're not even on the TGA. Like, you can't sell them. No one's paid for the permit to be able to sell them, and they haven't been proved as safe or even good for you in Australia. Same with macuna. Same with like a few other herbs. Quite a lot of herbs actually. But basically, there's hundreds of companies doing the wrong things, making claims they shouldn't as well. You're not allowed to make any claims that anything's ever good for you unless you pay for them.
Oh, interesting. You can pay to make claims?
Yeah, you can pay to make claims, which is ridiculous. So there's like the Food Authority and the Therapeutics Goods Administration, and they look after, the TGA looks after medicines and the Food Authority looks after food. So because we're a food, we fall under the Food Authority, and medicinal mushrooms are not foods, even though they are foods. They're not considered foods because they can be unsafe in large amounts. And it's actually kind of a good thing that the industry is regulated in a way, because a lot of other companies have popped up and they don't know what they're doing with these mushrooms. They're selling, take 5 tablespoons of reishi a day for 5,000 days. Like, you can make people sick. So, and the quality is not there. Like, obviously, I know about mushrooms and herbs, so I'll buy the best quality. But if someone just jumps on the marketing, bandwagon, medicinal mushrooms are hot right now, they'll just go onto the internet and buy them from anyone. So basically, to sell the mushrooms, you have to have a permit, not a permit, I don't know what it's called, a permit with the Therapeutic Goods Administration, and you have to sell them kind of as a medicine, which they are medicines, but yeah.
But it's nice to put them in something like chocolate.
Yeah.
It's about, you can't be classified or go for, like in the US, you could be a nutritional supplement or you could be a supplement or a food product. I forget what it is. So like for us, since we have certain things in them, we go for the supplement label.
Yeah.
It's not the same for you. Like you're just considered food, so you can't go to the other label.
Well, the thing is, because we're not a medicine kind of company and we don't have this GMP certification, cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, we would have to get another chocolate manufacturer with that certification to manufacture our chocolate with the mushrooms in it, and that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a product. So what we will do is make some products that are registered with the TGA, and we will be able to continue selling reishi, cordyceps, some of the mushrooms, not lion's mane and chaga, which is ridiculous. But it's really strict, and there is reasons it's strict. But the thing is, no one does anything about it unless someone reports you. So like you could get away with doing it forever selling mushrooms forever until some disgruntled person reports you to the food authority. And then the food authority has to follow up and they have to like regulate you. And as they regulate you, they regulate everything. So it's like if you've got 1% wrong on your package or the allergen is written in the wrong place, you've got to like repackage everything, which is what happened. Anyway, it's been a big journey, but it will be good in the long run. We're putting now probiotics, and we can still use them.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, so we're going to put probiotics, and then we can still use tremella. We can still use astragalus. Like there is herbs we can use because they've been deemed safe. So now, like anyone can eat our products, not because some people breastfeeding or pregnant or whatever don't have mushrooms. I personally did, but
I'm like I'm like in my third trimester having all the mushrooms still that you have
too, and my baby's amazing, so I'm not afraid of them, but people are afraid of everything. So
I mean, I always tell myself like people smoked crack and had healthy babies, so
somehow I don't know where the baby ends up, but like I can't even believe that. And people don't even want babies and they're having them, like 10 babies, and then people that should be having babies that are like amazing people, and then they can't fall pregnant, and it's so unfair. It's really sad.
I know. Life is wild.
It is.
But I'm so happy that we had this opportunity to chat, and that I was able to meet you, and that you were willing to share your journey with us. I really appreciate it. And I'm definitely going to continue following along. I also found out that in LA, Midland has you guys now.
What is it?
Which I think Midland is a store in LA that carries your products. Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh. So if I run out, I can drive to LA and get it.
Okay, that's cool to know. Yeah, we want to expand more in the US, but it's just our capacity. We've been talking to Erewhon for like a couple of years and almost gone in there, and then I've been like, oh no, I don't want to yet. I'm kind of like holding it back. But
it's gonna do.
I'm well afraid of competition and stuff. I feel like no one makes chocolate the same as we do, so it's okay. Like if we
totally okay. Like I've had every single chocolate that Erewhon sells, and none of it's like yours. Like
that's good to hear.
No comparison. At all.
We've been very obsessive in making sure it's like as best as we can, and we're always innovating our recipes and stuff. So I need to get back in the kitchen and get to work because I've just been so distracted with like rules and regulations and employment and all those things. So yeah, that's not where my strengths lie for sure. But
Yeah, it'll feel nice when you get back in, and hopefully it'll all make sense. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and we love you so much, and we love Loco Love, and yeah, thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my story, and yeah, thanks for loving Loco Love so much. It loves you back.